this concept, this video is about chirality concept, and there will always be one question about chirality on all of your exam where you decide whether the carbons are or S. There are going to be three different types of chirality problems. The first one is where your fourth priority is on the dash. That's where we ideally like them to be. We don't want them to be at any other position. Right now, fourth priority hydrogen is in the back. That's where we like it to be. This is the carbon that is what that's the point of interest. We're going to decide R or S for that carbon. For that carbon, it's attached to another carbon, two carbons, and one oxygen. So in that case, oxygen's going to win because it has higher atomic number. Then these two carbon, this carbon's attached to three hydrogens, that carbon's attached to one carbon and two other hydrogen. So this is going to win, so that's 2 and that's 3. After you're done assigning the priority, connect 1, 2, and 3. And this is telling us that it's going clockwise. So this is our chiral structure. So it is R because it's clockwise. So again, for this one, fourth priority is on the dash. That's where we like it to be. So whatever you see is what you get. The second is where your alcohol group is not on a wedge. It's going to be on a dash now. So same carbon that we're worried about. There is a hydrogen that's not drawn. So this is still going to be 1. That's still going to be 3. That's 2 and 3. And this is 4. But now fourth priority is no longer on a dash. It's actually on a wedge. So whatever you get, you have to take the opposite of that. So if it's 1 through 3, still connect them. It's still telling us that it's clockwise, but since number 4 is onto a wedge, you're going to take the opposite of that, which is S. So that is counterclockwise. Obviously, this is not R because this was R, and there is a difference between those two. So whenever you have a fourth priority on a wedge, you're going to switch what you get. Take the opposite of that. So these two are pretty simple. Assign the priority, connect 1, 2, and 3. Whichever side it's going, it tells you R or S, depending upon what situation you're in. But number 3 is a little different because your fourth priority now is not going to be on a wedge, not going to be on a dash, but it's going to be into the plane of paper. So let's look at this one. How do we solve this? This is still 1. That is 2. That's 3. And that's 4. So we already know the priorities because it's the exact same carbon we have been working with. All right. So after you're done assigning, you're going to realize number 4, which is the hydrogen, is into the plane of paper. So what do? You're actually going to draw this or decide this in terms of a propeller. So whichever two substituents are into the plane of paper, you're going to just pick one, and you're not going to change that, but you're going to change the other 3. So in this case, we want to change where 4 is right now. So we're going to hold number 2 on its own. Just leave it as it is. And then switch the other 3 like a propeller. So this is still 2. We want 4 to be where 1 is. That means 1 is going to be pushed to a wedge, and 3 is going to be pushed into the plane of paper. So now this becomes the same situation as that because it's 1 to 3 to 3, and it's telling us that it's R. So just one extra step that you have to do here is once you have the fourth priority into the plane of paper, once you realize that, keep the other substituent that's in the plane still and turn 4, 3, and 1, the other three substituents, so that fourth priority is onto a dash, and that's where we like it to be. So that's the additional step that you will always have to do if you have fourth priority into the plane of paper. Alright, so these are the three kinds of chirality questions that could come up on the exam. And chirality is something that you're going to always have to know. If you don't know your stereochemistry, you're not going to be able to give him all the answers. So make sure this concept is clear before any of the reactions that you learn in chapter 6.
The Teaching Center, UF's Learning Resource Center.